Hello, I'm Adrian, and in this video I'm going to be taking a detailed look at the guitar style of Mr. Charlie Christian. He is one of the most important names in jazz guitar, the original electric guitar hero. Before Charlie Christian comes on the scene, most jazz guitar players were playing unamplified. They were primarily rhythm players, and then Charlie comes along and establishes the electric guitar as a solo instrument in jazz. He was a revolutionary player, and I've spent the past couple of days listening to a lot of Charlie Christian in preparation for making this video, and he still sounds pretty incredible. So if you're into jazz, then you have to know about Charlie Christian, but even if you're not a fully signed up jazz beau, I still think there's a lot you can get from learning a Charlie Christian lick or two. His strategy for improvising over chord changes is going to make you a better, more intelligent player no matter what style of music you choose to play. You only need to listen to a handful of Charlie Christian solos and you start to notice the same moves, the same devices cropping up again and again. And it seemed to me that Charlie Christian saw the guitar fretboard in terms of chord shapes and related arpeggios and colour tones. He had half a dozen or so of these patterns that he used the majority of the time. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to learn some of these patterns and we're going to relate them to some classic Charlie Christian licks. So don't fear, I have licks for you, but more importantly than that, I'm going to be talking about these underlying patterns. That way you won't just have a bunch of licks that some dude off YouTube has shown to you that are going to be forgotten in a couple of days anyway. You're going to have the understanding to use and adapt these licks to your own purposes and to come up with some fresh ideas of your own. I've got 10 licks for you, all authentic Charlie Christian licks taken from various solos. In a couple of cases I've changed the key or adjusted things slightly just to make them more teachable. Let's kick off by looking at how Mr. CC might solo over major type chords. I've got 3 licks designed to work over a B flat major chord or any related major type chord, so a B flat major 6 or a B flat major 7. Very often when Charlie Christian is playing over major chords, he would be soloing straight out of a simple 6-string root E form chord shape. So if we're in the key of B flat, you've got your B flat root note here at the 6th fret on the 6th string, and we could play this simple B flat major bar chord and use that as our reference point. You could also play a B flat major 6 chord, and often in swing and jazz of this era, 6 chords were used quite a lot as a 1 chord rather than just a straight major triad. So a nice B flat 6 voicing would be this. We've got the B flat root, and then we've got 5th fret on the D, 7th fret on the G, and 6th fret on the B. There's a B flat major 6th, and both of those chord shapes can be used as reference points, and what we can do is we can map out some of the other important notes in and around those chord shapes, so arpeggios and colour tones. So why don't we start with a simple B flat major arpeggio, just 1, 3, 5, and that would look like this. That's just B flat D and F, root 3rd 5th, root 3rd 5th, and then another B flat root on top. So that's giving us our important chord tones. On top of that we could add the 6, and that was a note that Charlie Christian very often leaned on quite heavily. So if we add a 6th as well, we would have this. Including this G note here and here for that major 6th arpeggio. So I think it's important to bear those shapes in mind when we're looking at the actual lick. So let's come on to lick number 1, and that goes like this. 2, 3, 4. And this is quite a simple one. We're starting on that B flat note at the 6th fret on the top string, coming down to a G note here, 8th fret on the B, little hammer on from 6 to 7 on the G, and then we've got 8 to 5 on the D, and then back to 8 on the D, playing that twice, and ending it here with a little hammer on. We're actually including the flat 3rd here, hammering into the 3rd for a slightly bluesy flavour. And the rhythm is this: 2, 3, 4. is lick number 1. Lick number 2 is coming right out of a very similar shape, but it illustrates how you can embellish these basic tones with some chromatic notes. And that's often something that Charlie Christian would do, is he'd play neighbouring tones, so the note usually 1 fret below these chord tones to get a really nice flavour. So next lick goes like this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This one is very similar to what Charlie Christian plays in solo flight, I think. And we're starting off with fret 7 and 8 on the B. So the 8th fret note there, the G, that's the 6th, but we're just going 1 fret below that, just as a kind of chromatic passing tone, I suppose. And then we're doing a similar thing on the G string at the 6th and 7th frets. And then at the 7th and 8th frets on the D. And then we're just coming straight up that 6th arpeggio to end the lick. And the rhythm, this one comes in on an upbeat on the end of 1. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1. That's lick number 2. For lick number 3, we're moving a bit higher up the neck. We're still playing over a B flat major chord, but another shape that Christian quite frequently uses is this kind of shape. So B flat, if you're thinking in caged terms, this is the C form of a B flat. So your reference point can be this B flat major chord up here. This is the 13th fret on the A, 12 on the D, 10 on the G, and 11 on the B. B flat major. If you wanted to make that into a B flat 6, you could do it like that. That's now A, 13, 12 on the D and G, 11 on the B. And onto that we could find our 1, 3, 5 arpeggio. And we could add the 6th as well, which is going to be the G. Lick number 3 itself then sounds like this. So 1, 2, 3. And it's all coming right out of those shapes we just talked about. Starting off with this B flat triad shape, we're just climbing up through that. That's 10 on the G, 11 on the B, 10 on the high E. We're hitting this high F note and then just moving chromatically down the top string. And then we're finishing off just descending through that 6th arpeggio. So that's 10 on the high E, 11 on the B, 12 to 10 on the G, and ending on this B flat. Rhythmically, I'm feeling this is coming in on beat 4 with the triplet. So we've got 1, 2, 3. The next bunch of licks are dominant licks, so they're designed to work over a dominant 7th chord or a 9th chord or a 13th chord. And often Christian would go for a bluesy flavour with these kind of licks, and any of these licks you could very easily take and use in more of a straight ahead blues context. The next couple of licks are played over a B flat 7 chord, and again Charlie Christian will very often play straight off of the 6th string root E form shape. So we've got a B flat 7 bar chord, you could play like that. You could add in the 13 if you wanted to do that as well. That's the G note there on the B string at the 8th fret. And around that chord shape we could do a similar thing, but this time we could map a dominant 7 arpeggio, and that would look and sound like this. We'd have the root, 3rd, 5th, but then the flat 7. This is an A flat. And then we could do that in the next octave. There's the flat 7 again. And you could always add the sixth into that as well if you wanted to, I think. And that's something Charlie Christian would frequently do, as well as add in these little chromatic embellishments, passing tones, neighbouring tones, and that kind of thing. So next lick then, this is lick number 4, and this is very similar to the opening phrase of Charlie's solo from Flying Home, and the lick goes like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right out of that chord shape, we're going straight up a B flat major arpeggio, starting on the B flat on the D string, then we've got the D note there, 7 on the B, and then the 6th fret on the top 2 strings. We're hitting that flat 7, that's the 9th fret on the B, and then we've got the 6th and the 5th, and then we're kind of encircling this third, the third of the B flat, that's our D note right here, but we're playing a note above and then we're playing a note below. So something sometimes called targeting or encircling. It's a very common kind of jazz device. So we're going, then we're hitting that F note, and we're finishing with that little targeting move again. So one more time, the entire lick. Rhythmically we're coming in on beat 2 with this one, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Next lick then, and this one uses another really common Charlie Christian shape. This is one of his trademark shapes, I think, and I'm seeing this as coming out of, again this lick is played over the B flat 7 chord, but this time it's helpful, I think, to see it as coming out of this shape. This is a B flat 7 chord with the root on the D string. We've got 8th fret on the D, 10 on the G, 9 on the B, and 10 on the top string. So it's like an open position D7 chord that you've brought higher up the neck. In caged terms, this is the D form. So there's our 7th chord shape, and around that, these are the notes that Christian would often play. You've got a 7th arpeggio, so you've got your root note here, your B flat at the 8th fret on the D, then 3rd and 5th, that's 7 and 10 on the G, there's our flat 7, the 9th fret on the B string. Christian will very often include the 9th, that's a C note here at the 8th fret on the top string, so we've got a 9th arpeggio. So that's the way I see it. I mean, you could see if you don't include the root, it's like a superimposed D minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, or we've just got a simple F minor triad shape here as well. So lots of ways you could analyse this, but whatever way you look at it, it's giving you that dominant 9th sound. And the lick itself, this is lick number 5, it goes like this. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we're starting at the 10th fret on the top string. We're coming chromatically down to the 9th, and then we're coming down that arpeggio shape. But then we're hitting the 9th in a lower octave here, and again chromatically walking down to the root. So kind of just chromatically filling in the gaps between those chord tones. So 2, 3. Rhythmically we're coming in on beat 4. 1, 2, 3. That's lick number 5, and I've got one more dominant lick for you, and this one is played over an E flat 7 chord, and this demonstrates another of Charlie's favourite shapes. So if we play an E flat 7 chord right here we've got an E flat root, this time on the 5th string, and then I'm playing the 5th fret on the D, 6 on the G, 4 on the B. Just a simple kind of C form E flat 7 chord. You could play an E flat 9 chord as well in that position, or you could add in the 8th fret on the top string and you've got an E flat 13. And around those chord shapes, these are the notes that Christian would often use. It's this little arpeggio. So you've got the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, then you've got the 9th again. It's another 9th arpeggio. And then you could include the 6th and 8th frets on the top string as well if you wanted to. That gives you the 5th and the 6th, or the 13th. So and he would sometimes be playing that note as well there. That's the major 3rd. So those are the notes. The lick I've got for you goes like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're starting 5th fret on the D, that's the 3rd of the chord, and we're just going up that arpeggio shape, hitting the 13th, then we've got a little triplet there, hammer on and pull off at the 6th and 8th frets, ending with 8 and 6 on the B string. Coming in on beat 1 with this, it's 2, 3, 4. Let's continue by taking a look at what Charlie Christian might do over minor chords or minor 7th chords. And this one works over a B flat minor 7 chord. Again, Charlie is working out of the 6th string root E form chord shape. You could play a B flat minor 7 like this, just barring all the way across at the 6th fret and then playing the 8th fret on the A. Or you could use this jazz approved voicing where you've got the root, you're muting the A string, and then you've got the 6th fret on the D, G and B. And on top of that, again, Charlie superimposes the chord tones, a little B flat minor arpeggio we could play like this. So you've got your root, then you've got your 3rd, 5th and another root all at the 6th fret on the top 3 strings. And another note that Charlie Christian would often include is the 6th, and that's available to you here. It's the G note at the 5th fret on the D string. So that gives us a minor 6 arpeggio. A nice minor 6 sound, very common in gypsy jazz as well, that minor 6 sound. It's a very nice flavour over minor type chords. The lick itself then, lick number 7 goes like this, 2, 3, 4. And we're really just coming up that minor 6 arpeggio shape, starting at 5 on the D. Then we're hitting the 8th fret on the top string. And then down the arpeggio again. And then I've got that's 8 to 6 on the B, 6 on the G, 8 on the D, and then finishing at 6 on the G. So 2, 3, 4. That's lick number 7. Lick number 8, another minor lick, but this one is designed to work over a D minor 7 chord, illustrating another of Charlie Christian's shapes here. You could see this lick as working around a D minor 7 chord, 5th position with the root on the 5th string. So there's a common D minor 7 chord shape there, just barring at the 5th fret, and then I've got 7 on the D and 6 on the B. The notes that he tends to use over a minor 7th chord, we've got a D minor triad, which you can play like this. We've got the root note D at the 7th fret on the G string, then we've got F, an A. That's root, flat, third and fifth. And once again, Charlie would include the sixth. So this time the sixth is available to us here. This is a B note at the 4th fret on the G string. So we've got another minor 6 arpeggio. Exactly the same note choice as the previous lick, we're just playing it around a different chord shape here. So that gives you that nice D minor 6 sound. Lick itself then goes like this. We've got 1, 2. So we're starting with 5 to 6 on the B, then 7 to 5 on the G, then we're straight up this minor 6 shape, then we're repeating the DFA triad again, hitting that B note on the top string, and then we've got a little flutter, 5 to 7 on the high E, and resolving to this F note here, 6th fret on the B. The next lick is just a really nice blues lick. 2, 3, 4, 1. Played down in the first position over an F7 chord. And it's starting with this little double stop here. This is 3 on the B and 4 on the high E. Playing that 4 times, then just sliding down from 4 to 3 on the top string. Going down to the F and then 3, 2, 1 on the B, and then we've got this same encircling move, hitting the third there but playing above, below and then hitting that target note. And then we're ending with C, B, and then again minor to major third hammer on. The rhythm is really nice on this one as well. All of those double stops are on upbeat, so it's 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's finish by taking a look at how Charlie Christian might solo over a 2-5-1 progression. This progression is probably the most common chord progression in jazz, and this particular lick is taken from his classic solo on Rose Room. And I've actually just filmed another video where I'm looking at the entire Rose Room solo in detail. So if you've enjoyed this lesson, then that might be a good place to go next. The lick goes like this: 1, 2, 3. And played over a 2-5-1 in A flat, and the chords here are B flat 7, E flat 7 to A flat major, maybe A flat major 6. Yeah, notice that the 2 chord in this instance is a dominant 2 chord, but the lick would work equally well over a minor 2 chord. And to start with, we're playing out of this B flat shape. We've just got this repeated 4-note phrase. It's just 6, 8 and 9 on the B, and then 8 on the top string. So coming out of that 7th or 6th arpeggio shape there. Now the interesting thing about this lick is what Charlie does over the 5 chord. So the 5 chord is E flat 7, and he's playing out of this shape, which is really just a D flat minor triad shape. But those notes, the way they function against the E flat 7 chord, is it's giving you the flat 7, the flat 9 and also the 11th. So it's giving you a nice bit of tension on that 5 chord, which works really nicely. So you can hear how that works in context. There's that flat 9 sound. it wraps up with another nice bluesy one chord phrase, very similar to what we've had before. It's encircling that third, there's the sixth, ending on the root. So it's a great lick, this one. Might just have to be careful with fingering here, just to make that position shift nice and smooth. So that the way I'm doing it, I think, is I'm kind of stretching to get that shift. So I'm using 2 and 3 there. You could use 2 and 4, and then reaching back with the first finger. And rhythmically, this is coming in on the upbeat of 3, I think. We've got 1 and 2 and 3. So there we have 10 lovely Charlie Christian licks. Music and tab will be up on my website. And as I said, I filmed another video where I look at the Rose Room solo. So if you're still hungry for more Charlie Christian, then you might like to take a look at that. Take a look at my Patreon page as well, where I'll be posting PDFs of the tabs and also some extra Charlie Christian stuff. I actually transcribed another couple of solos, which I'm probably not going to have time to do videos on, but you can find them up on my Patreon page. Thanks for watching. Cheers.